Okay, so that's our very own Kojo Anim. He's a big name globally in the comedy space. He's performed with the likes of Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, and he's been in the industry for over 20 years. Today, he's here with us to share a bit of his life journey with us. If you are an aspiring comedian or a musician or a painter, whatever it is that you are venturing into right now, I think you can learn a lot from his journey about, firstly, spotting the right moments and taking advantage of it. Good morning, Kojo.
Good morning. How are you?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You say Happy New Year till you bring your time.
Until next December.
Until next
You just say
December.
Happy New Year. How are you? You look
I'm
good.
good. You too. You have really white teeth,
Oh,
by
yes,
the way. Extremely white.
I'm trying.
Tell us a bit about yourself, what life was like as a child, being raised by immigrant parents.
Yes.
Especially.
So both my parents are from Kumasi. And they had me when I was, just had me in England. I was born in England. And then I, used to the English life. I guess me, my sister, my two sisters, Anita and Namara at the time. And then I'm the oldest. And then moved to Ghana when I was about 7.
How was that move like?
Tough at the time because you're not used to being here.
What did you think Ghana was like at 7
At
when they said you were taking you to Ghana?
At 7, I didn't know. To be fair, I think a lot of people from like the UK or America or whatever, when you come home, you think, oh, it's a holiday. And you realize this holiday is long. This holiday's been like 3 years.
I'm ready to go back.
Yeah, like, I didn't see no return ticket. Like, I was like, what's going on, Mom?
Are you guys gonna keep me?
He said we got to shop. and then so I was here, but I went to Achimota.
Okay, how was that experience like?
It was at the time, I think, first 6 months was really difficult for me because I 7, I got friends at home, so I missed them and missed people that I was used to growing up with, and then I got comfortable, got used to it.
Were the kids nice to you?
Yeah, the kids were great. They were great. School was different as well.
What made it different?
School was definitely different.
Did you get lashed in? Did your teachers lash you?
Oh, of course, yes. I have them bruises as adult.
What was your first experience like? Do you remember?
I remember we went to break to, you have your break. And then the kids have to go, you have to be back in the class at a certain time. Kojo was still talking. Yeah? Yeah, and he found out
Did you thought you would get detention or what? What did you think was
you get lines, simple things. No, bend over. So I literally did that. That was a good experience because now I'm older. I think those 2-3 years really shaped me because I think, especially in the Western world, if you don't know who you are, a lot of things, you can believe what you're told all the time, And being in Ghana, I knew that how the Western world perceives Africans isn't true, and I knew that from a very young age, and I was very confident about being African as well because I knew, I'd been around my grandma who sadly passed away, and it's like I had all of this knowledge from just being here. 2 years was enough to kind of get an essence of your culture.
Why did they decide to bring you? Were you like a bad child?
No, because I think they just wanted me to know who I was, I guess, And even now, a lot of like parents, I'm a parent, I want my son to know who he is. And sometimes 6 months away even, just to come and just be around grandma and all these other people, you get to get an understanding. And I know what it did for me as a child, So yeah, it was a good experience on the whole. It was so good that I couldn't speak English.
You're joking. How?
I couldn't speak
English. So you
English.
went back. How did you adjust when you went back? This was 2 years. Just 2 years.
But when you're 7 years old, you're young, you're impressionable. It's adults that take longer, But kids, they absorb it, and I was speaking tree. I can't even speak tree.
Oh no.
Only small. But it's because I wasn't around my mum all the time, so it was kind of difficult, but ultimately it kind of paved the way for what's happening now.
So at 9 years old, when you went back, how did you see things differently?
That was even harder. It was harder because I felt like the UK had changed dramatically to me. I wasn't used to, again, it's a rhythm, innit? Every child needs rhythm. So my rhythm's now being kind of like messed up again, so I have to get used to it. There was no sunshine every day. England is just forever raining. And I was like, what's going on with that as well? But again, I adapted. And then yeah, as a child you get used to it, and then you just make new friends and stuff, and yeah, it was. And I had my sister. I think when I was very young, my sister was sort of like my best friend, so we was very, very close. Even today, we're still very close. So it was easy to kind of adapt again.
How did you balance life as, being raised by African parents and their principles and their way of disciplining kids versus your friends whose parents might have been a bit more liberal?
Yeah, it was tough. As you get older, you're like, Mum, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, Mum. And I think a lot of African parents, they put their own fear into their own children.
How?
Well, in the sense of the time that they were raised, it was a bit tougher.
Yeah.
Whereas our generation, and even now, they've got so much opportunities. They can become genuinely everything and make money and be successful. And I think the African parent now is a bit more understanding because they've seen
the possibilities.
Yeah. I think you put us in like the UK, for example, because you wanted more opportunities for us, and then opportunities are outside of a doctor and lawyer. Yeah, there are other jobs, parents. Okay, so that is kind of how it was for me, where my mum wanted me to be one of those two things. You see what I'm trying to say? And through growing up, you get different experiences, sports, and boys' club that I used to go to. We went camping, we travelled a lot, so you get to see how big the world is too. So it was quite cool.
But how do you deal with that, where you walk out into the world, you see how big the world is, but you still have to come home and deal with that narrow view of be a lawyer or a doctor because I want you to have a comfortable life?
I think what my mum and my aunt who raised me as well, what they used to say was that you could always tell when I went to do something and how my energy was when I came home. And most of the time I'd go camping or something and play sports, and I'd come back happy and ready to tell them stories about what happened, maybe more that than school. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And they encouraged it. So when they started seeing that I was having a good time with other kids and all the other stuff, they always encouraged it. So I think with African parents, all you got to do is prove to them that your way is going to work. Then they're right behind you. Do you know what I mean? Until then, you do what they say in it. Like, that's what it is. So it's difficult, but I think we're in the world sometimes to prove what we want to do is for real, rather than just saying it.
Now, so comedy. At what point did you discover that this is the path I wanted to be?
So I went to America. I did a program called Camp America, which is where you go and work with young Americans in a summer camp.
Okay.
And
how old were you?
I was 18.
Okay.
I was 18, and
so fresh out of high school.
Yeah, fresh. Just kind of like wanting to be some independent. I'd never left home in terms of like by myself. Where
outside of the that was your first time.
Yeah, first time in terms of like being independent. Like
how important was it for you to be independent at that age?
It was so important to me because I just you get to a place like I have to wash dishes. Dishes. There's 9 of us. You know how much people eat in this house? So when you go away, you realize now you're responsible for yourself. That's your first bit of independence, when you're responsible for yourself. I was away for like 2 months, and I went to the local Best Buy. There was a store called Best Buy. And
the electronics store?
Yeah, and there was a DVD of Martin Lawrence. And I remember seeing him in the film. So I bought the DVD and I thought, he's got his own movie. So I thought it was a movie, but it wasn't a movie, it was him doing stand-up. But I didn't know what stand-up was at the time.
Wow.
So I was like, have I got the wrong thing? Right?
I've got the wrong thing.
Yeah, and then I'm watching it, and then I was like, even today, I don't think I've laughed as much.
Wow.
But like 5 minutes in, I started seeing myself do it.
How did that happen?
Because in school I was quite funny. I was never silly. But I was like, if I got in trouble in school, it was more because of what I said than what I done.
Okay.
Like Kojo always had to have the last line. Like,
so were you the kind of kid that your teachers had your parents' phone on speed dial?
Absolutely.
Kojo's at it again.
Absolutely. But I think I've put it to good use, because sometimes you can just be a bad child who's rude. But I was never a bad child. I was always just kind of like
saying things.
Yeah. Like I just had the last laugh. I would always make the class laugh. So I was more witty than silly. And then so I got into comedy. I wanted to learn a bit more about it. There was a comedy workshop in the UK called the Comedy School, where it's like a workshop you go to like once a week. And I remember asking my aunt to give me £150 for the class. It was like a 2-month course. Did that, and then, you know, it teaches you a lot of skills.
She gave you that money.
She gave me money.
That's important.
I said, I will pay you back.
Did you?
She got way more than £150. I know that much. But that's what it is. I think that's what is great about being a parent, just to encourage. Yeah. You know, like you know, I'm giving you this money. Go and make it work. You know. Mm-hmm. So I did that for 2 months, started performing, and then that first adrenaline you get from your first performance. You know, it was like I fell in love.
Was that when you knew I'll pursue this as a career?
Absolutely. That feeling you get from a live audience, that you've told them stories and they've given you like the response of laughter, is such a healing thing, but it's very powerful as well. And even like some of your bad moments in your life, you get to make them into humorous stories that people can relate to as well, you know? Because oftentimes we go through life thinking we're the only one going through this emotion or this situation, and other people go, me too, you know? So that was, I fell in love with it after the first.
So we're gonna skip steps to Britain's Got Talent.
Yes. Yes.
What made you decide to participate, especially since you're not a newbie in this space? You've done a lot. Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle. I mean, why?
Because I think, okay, so for me, it was I was at a very low point in my life.
Really?
Like, people don't know, but like I had £20 in my account that day. So just, I think I went through, I'd done a movie for Netflix, didn't get paid.
You're kidding? Is that possible?
It's possible, because it happened to me.
Because then everybody will be celebrating you, but they don't know you're broke.
Absolutely. And I put a lot of my money into making the movie. I did radio for a few years, so I saved
4 years or so.
Yeah, so I saved money, went into the movie space, put it out, didn't get nothing. I worked with a really bad business partner.
Wow.
And my mum was like, you know what, like, let that go, because how God works is the same gap, the same size of the gap, it will be filled with something the same size. So it took a lot for me to do that, but I did it. And then I remember praying, like, God, I was like, am I doing too much? Do I need to slow down? Like, what's not working? Because everything was not going well for me. I was on my friend's couch as well for like a year.
Wait, how old were you at this time?
I'm like 36.
On your friend's couch?
On my friend's couch.
After 20 years of sweating, hustling,
all my money went into the film.
Watching the people you started out with blowing up.
All my money went into the film, and I lost big financially. So, and I was in LA for a little while as well, so I had to come back and just regroup, humble myself. But it was a very humbling season for me, because God wanted to humble me.
How difficult was that humbling season?
It was difficult because you're not used to it. It's like, you know, and your ego, your pride, you know, you're saying like, how did I get here? But sometimes in bad situations, you got to take ownership. You can't blame the world. You got to say, I've made wrong decisions. I stopped going with my gut instinct.
How difficult is it to swallow that pill of saying, I have to take something?
I think, do you know what? I'll tell you what it was. I started reading.
What did you read?
I read autobiographies about people who I admired. And the same thing that my comedy does for people, these stories were doing for me. Made me go, wow, like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. It's not the end of my book, it's just a chapter.
It's a footnote.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was like Kevin Hart's book. Even though I know him, I wanted to invest in his success. So I started to listen to his book, and that changed everything for me, because I realized that I had to press reset. Sometimes in life, you got to press reset. So I pressed reset, I prayed over everything, and I was like, I want God, like, just show me a sign. So then I get this message on Instagram saying, oh, I work for a TV show, and we just saw some of your clips online. We'd love to talk to you. So normally you get these messages, whatever, okay.
I've already done too many things that didn't make no money.
Don't waste my time, man. And then I said, yeah, sure, send them some clips. And then they messaged me back going, oh yeah, everybody was laughing, everyone liked it. We'd really like to get you on the show. So I was like, what's the show? And they said, Britain's Got Talent. And I was like, I ain't doing no Britain's Got Talent. Are you crazy? Not doing that. And that was fear.
Yeah.
Fear was like, why would I go and do that show?
What were you afraid of?
I was afraid of the only thing I was afraid of was I felt like I was in an awkward space where I felt like I'd done too much, but still not enough.
So you were running around in circles.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, you're too big for this. So but they're calling you. So I'm like, why are they calling me? And then my friend was like, look, if they're calling you, they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
That is an opportunity for you to use all this experience and be the new guy.
Yeah.
You get to be the new guy with 20 years experience. That is a powerful position to be in. So then I looked at it and I was like, yeah, like shoot, but I was still worried about people that knew me, like what they're gonna say. Because the show didn't really get much respect from my community.
Which is the black community.
Yeah, like we look at that show and goes,
It's corny.
sob stories, this person's dog died, you know, they want to get through. Like, you don't take it seriously. And I didn't really appreciate how big the show was either.
Yeah.
But then I just felt like everything that I went through, God was giving me a sign. Like, this is what I'm giving you. You know that story when they say, you know, there's a flood outside the house and God keeps giving you, yeah, he keeps giving you all these things that you're asking for, and then you say, no, I'm waiting for
the flood to go away.
So I gave you all these things and you didn't even pay attention. That's what it felt like to me. And I felt like God was all over it. So it took something, I guess it took faith and it took belief to say, like, I'm going to put you in a situation that I know you're not going to be comfortable with, but trust me. Just trust me. And I trusted him.
How did you prepare for it?
I was broke, so I was thinking about how am I going to get there? That's what I was thinking. How am I going to...
Literally, how are you going to get there?
You don't think the taxi joke was a joke. How am I going to get to this place, right, with no money?
Wow.
And I just had my son as well, so it was...
Shout out to your fiance and your son.
Yes. It was tough. So for me, it was like, I'm going on there, all I have is myself, and I'm just going to go and do the best. It was a long day. Got there at 8 o'clock in the morning, performed at like 8:45 at night. There was 2 shows. It was day 1 of filming. I'm also like stepping out there. I know I've met Alicia before, so I don't know what's gonna happen there, you know? But it was just kind of like, just God was all over it. And I think God was like, here's Simon Cowell's golden buzzer.
But how important is it, because we're going to talk about the golden buzzer. It's really important. We're going to watch it as well. How important is it at that moment to take everything away, homelessness, being broke, all these things, and just be in the moment and deliver?
The happiest place that I have is outside of my son is on stage.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on stage, nothing else matters. Nothing else is going on. There's no bad days. There's no bad feelings. Like that's the happiest space that I'm in when I'm on stage, because I get to just be myself and also just share stories that other people can relate to and to encourage as well. And I felt like that was my happy place. I didn't even see the audience. I didn't see the judges. I just went into my natural rhythm. I forgot I was on Britain's Got Talent. Like I was just performing, you know? And a lot of people have said like, you look so comfortable, you look so natural. Like, I've always been a natural speaker. Because I used to come home late from school.
and you did radio, and you have 20 years of experience in it.
Yeah, but at the same time, that, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
You know, and there's sometimes a glass ceiling for black talent. And I wanted to show people who believe that I could only make black people laugh.
You can do more.
I can do everybody. I can do old people, young people, everybody.
Did you expect it, your big moment? Did you expect this was going to happen when you were done?
I blocked Simon out of my mind. When I got there, I said, this guy does not like comedians. I done all my research. This guy does not like comedy, don't like comedians, nothing. So I didn't care about him. Everybody in the green room was like, I want Simon Cowell's buzzer, I want Simon Cowell's buzzer. It's the one that you want.
Yeah.
But me, I said, this guy, if he says anything to me, listen. So I blocked him out, and then I just went for the other 3 because I felt like David is a comedian himself. Alicia, I know. Amanda loves comedy. So I was like, let me give my energy to them. But he was just amazing, and he's been amazing since.
Wow.
I'm really supportive. You know, we got things that we're working on for this year. But yeah, I was just mesmerized. But I felt like my own personal journey. That was God saying, I told you to come, and this is why, because you're going to change this man's mindset. You're going to change his idea of what comedy is. This is your moment. This is, you know, on time. My dad was in Kumasi, watching it. He's like, what's going on? Because it was a big secret, no one knew.
Wow.
And we shot this 5 months before. So I had to wait.
You pretend, like you can't tell them. Was it weird when you meet your friends and you want to tell them like this?
Of
I have this big news, but I can't tell you.
But I think sometimes when you tell people, you take away the delivery. Because then it's like they expect it because they know already. But when this came out, I was like #1 video on YouTube for like 3 days.
Wow. But how humbling was that moment? I mean, you were in your zone performing. You didn't even look up when they were all clapping for you. How did you feel? Because you were just, you were facing down like this, just bowing.
Because I was just saying, God, thank you. Because there's no other, it took a lot for me to even come onto that stage. And I think in life, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to be fearless with taking risks. And even if it doesn't get delivered how you want it, you know, you're moving forward because you're learning something. And for me, my mum always says blessings don't always feel like blessings straight away. They mature, they take time, and they make sense later. So your job is to just make yourself available, be present, do your best. And that's what you can ever do. And I think, you know, me swallowing my pride, you know, I'd been humbled anyway.
Humbling yourself.
Yeah, I'd been humbled anyway because of what I've been through.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And God was like, now I'm going to rebuild everything. And now it's just been life-changing.
But how important is it when you're at your lowest to not pity yourself to a point where you begin to doubt what you're destined to be?
So, shout out to Pastor Toure Roberts out in LA. He said something that will always stay with me. He says, you have to get something called night vision, yeah?
Okay.
Night vision is when you're in a dark space, but you can still see. Yeah? Because he said, if you can still see in a dark space, imagine what you can see when the lights come on.
Yeah.
And that's why I say to people, when you're going through a bad day, you still got to see the victory. You still got to see the victory when there's no evidence. Because when you see the victory, when the lights come on, you will know how to walk into that space. And I feel like the lights are now back on for me. And I'm still the same person because I had all of that time beforehand to really humble myself. God will take stuff away from you sometimes where you feel like you're going through a bad patch, but he's actually clearing the path. He's actually making room for what's to come. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And it doesn't feel like it at the time. You're like, why are you taking all this from me? Like, I had a house, where's my house? But he's giving you something bigger, but you got to just go on the journey. So I just learned so much, and just to see, first of all, the response from Africa, but Ghana. My Facebook went crazy, my Instagram went crazy. Yeah, I thought I was dead.
Why?
Because everyone had a picture of me. People like this. I said, I ain't never met you in my life. You know, when someone passes away, you see the picture, I'm still here. I'm still here, yeah. But it was crazy. Even like me coming back now, like my dad had said, like, you know, when you come back to Ghana, like in December, it's gonna be nuts. I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. It's been
no one knows me.
Absolutely mental. And it's just good that it's just happening because I wanted to put the African culture on the show. I wanted to talk about going to church. Yeah. You know, I'm taking Simon to church this month.
Really?
Yeah, before I go back.
Nice.
So all of those things is like it's just God, and I'm just happy that I trusted, I had faith, and now life is very good.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about what you're doing next, but how important is it for people watching, parents, partners, siblings, when you have that 30-something-year-old brother, son struggling, to actually be there for them, be their rock? Because as I'm talking to you, you have just positive things to say about your mom, your dad, your fiance. How important is it for them to have that support? I
think we're living in a time now which is very dangerous because young people, even adults, we're exposed to so much. You know, we don't think we're good enough. Yeah. You know, because there's a microwave generation where everybody, you know, like these careers, they want to go on social media and, you know, have 100,000 followers, and they want it now, you know, and it's like microwave food, you know, like you warm it up, there's no
satisfaction.
Yeah, it doesn't fill you up, it makes you more hungry. Yeah. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Whereas, like, if you prepare a meal, the effort it takes to prepare a meal, like, that's what you have to put into yourself. So I always say to people, encouragement is everything, you know, and telling people that they're good enough is everything as well, because you see a girl that looks prettier than me and this guy that's more muscles than me, and you start to doubt yourself and you say, oh, what's wrong with me? How come I'm not there yet? But you've got to be busy just building your dream and building what you do, and it will be a lonely journey sometimes because it's your dream. It's not everybody's dream, it's yours. So you've got to kind of just own what you want to do and just take the time to get better. My biggest fear in life is God knocking my door and I say to him, give me 5 minutes. Like, if you're not ready to go immediately, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you've got to kind of always be preparing. So my performance was delivered like that because it was 20 years. If somebody can go on the show this year, they might be doing it for 12 months. They may not have the same delivery because you still need to prepare.
In the journey.
Yeah, so I felt like I've got the war wounds from 20 years of doing comedy. I've learned from the best people like Chappelle and Kevin Hart and being around
Chris
them. Chris Rock, and just learning about the game and understanding what it takes to be at that level. Now I'm there. I just want to fly.
What's next for you? 2020.
So
where would you be?
I'm going to be.
So we can follow you.
So I'm going to be touring the UK. My
Okay.
first tour. That was the goal for me.
Okay.
Not necessarily to win Britain's Got Talent. It was like to get more exposure. That I can go on my own tour. So we're doing a taxi tour in the UK, and then Live Nation have already started talking about a world tour, which will come to Ghana, will come to Africa.
Really?
Absolutely.
Nice.
That it has to.
Bring it home.
Of course. and I may even shoot my Netflix special here.
Really?
I may do that because I feel like I want to do something that's going to really have impact, and I feel like all the love that I've been getting.
And it'll be so authentic.
But this is what I'm trying to say, like, why not? Why not bring it home and shoot it here? No one's done that before, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about at the moment. But yeah, it's just going to be a good time. And
Where do we follow you on social media so we can just keep sharing your content?
Kojo Anim Live.
Okay.
Kojo Anim Live. That is me on everything that exists. I'm still on MySpace.
You're kidding.
I'm joking.
Okay,
I'm
thank you.
joking. No one's on MySpace.
At least you didn't say school next.
But yeah, Kojo Anim Live on everything on social media. And yeah, just follow the journey, man. It's going to be a very exciting year. There's loads more announcements to be made as well. I'm going to LA in a few weeks. I'm turning 40.
Wow.
Turning 40. Cocoa Bar, look. Look at shining.
Thank you, Kojo. Lastly,
Yes.
what's your definition of success?
Patience.
Patience.
Yeah. Success is a long distance race. It's not a sprint. And you've got to pace yourself. You've got to be able to breathe in, breathe out. You've got to practice. And I think, that message, was with Britain's Got Talent. I think it went around the world quickly because everybody saw their own dreams.
In you.
In that moment, and it's like, this guy's been doing it for 20 years only now. Yeah. So me, I'm arguing about 5 minutes. Me, I'm arguing about 1 year. Me, I'm arguing about 3 years.
And he's so humble too.
Yeah, it humbles you, and I think you've got to be able to be ready. So just be patient. It's going to happen. You've got to tell yourself it's going to happen. And when it does, be ready. That's what you owe yourself. Don't get your opportunity and not be ready because you will regret it.
Yeah.
So that's it really.
Thank you so much for spending your New Year's
Thank
with
you.
us,
Thank
Kojo.
you.
And we wish you the best of
God
luck.
bless.
I mean, you're taking Ghana fine. We're all claiming you.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying for the conversation. This is still Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. And remember, be patient, invest in the journey, work hard. And when you get that opportunity, do not miss it. Up next, we're going to be talking about relationships. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.